Hello, guys. So, welcome back. So, today we're gonna be reviewing. Well, it's like a review slash we talking about it. It's a Obsession. This movie I watched yesterday or 2 days ago, since it's technically 2 in the morning. But 2 days ago, I walked into the theater to go watch this movie, and I was expecting a good movie. Like I was expecting a good scary movie. I watched the trailer. It looked good. It looked all right. You know what I was not expecting though? I was not expecting the best scary movie of 2026. And that's what it, as of right now, that's what it is. And I've watched some good movies. I literally watched Hokum like a week, 2 weeks ago. I watched Undertone. I watched this. I watched that. And out of all of them, Obsession takes it, man. Best movie of 2026 by far. But it's definitely gonna be spoilers, so if you haven't, please go watch it. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. The whole time I was scared, I was like anxious, like I was like, I don't know, it just made me feel some type of way. That's when I look at watching a movie, when I look into a movie, I want to feel some type of way. I like watching movies that make me feel stuff, and that's what it was. But anyways, it was I seen the trailer. I seen the first trailer a very long time ago, like months ago. I think I was watching I don't remember what I was watching. It might have been Nosferatu. No, I don't think it was that one, but I was watching a scary movie like a couple months ago, and I seen the trailer. It was like a clip. It was a clip of this guy just breaking the stick and making the wish. And that's all it was. And right there, I was like, you know what? This movie looks good. I can't wait till this movie comes out. Well, I went home. I did some research. I was like, when does this movie come out? And I realized it didn't come out until months later. So I kind of forgot about it. Then I seen the actual trailer for it, and it looked good. I'm not gonna lie. I will say though, the very first trailer that I seen, or like, what's it called? The teaser that I seen, it looked, it made me more excited about the movie than the trailer. I don't know why. Maybe, well, in the trailer, it doesn't show everything. That's what I'm saying, man. Please go watch it. The trailer doesn't show much. It shows what it needs to show, and that's about it. But anyways, I watched the trailer, and I was like, you know what? It's still a good movie. And this month, there's a couple of like really scary movies that I wanted to watch. One of the Hokum, this one, Obsession. We have Passengers coming out at the end of this week, and then we have the Backrooms at the end of the month. So my original plan was to watch all of them, and then make like a little review slash ranking of each one. But this movie was so good that I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just make its own video." Probably still gonna do the other video, but as of right now, I felt the need to talk about this movie. But anyway, so the movie starts off very interesting. It starts off at like this little diner, like a Denny's type shit. And this guy's talking to his friends, basically telling them, "Hey, I really like this girl," because it's a friend group. There's four of them in the friend group, and this guy was telling them, "Hey, I really like this one girl in the friend group." And that's how it starts off. It starts off very chill. Like it doesn't even feel like a scary movie when you first watch it. But then it cuts to the guy going home, and he walks in. His cat is dead. And that's when you get like a little flip. It's like a slight flip. It's nothing crazy, but that's when you start to feel it. And his cat got into like the medicine cabinet, and the cat overdosed on some pills. But anyways, he's sad. He's depressed. He gets this phone call from the girl that he really likes. Her name's Nikki. So he gets this call from Nikki, and she's invited him to go out to the bar. But he's not feeling too good. He's like, I'm gonna skip this one out because his cat literally just died. So he's sitting this one out. But she's like, "Man, I had to tell you something." And he's like, "What? Just tell me." And she's like, "I'm putting my 2 weeks in," because it turns out they actually work together. So he's like, "Oh, damn, I'm not going to be able to see you that much," and this and that. So after, some convincing, he actually went. But before he went, the girl had told him, "Hey, I dropped my necklace, my crystal necklace down the drain. So, since he's in love with her, he really likes her. He stopped by the magic store, the magician store, and he's looking for a replacement crystal necklace. But while he's there, he's like, man, fuck this shit. It's like cringe. Why would I give her this? She's not gonna like it. He actually buys this. It's called a one wish willow. You make a wish, supposedly comes true. But who's gonna believe in that? Nobody, and not him. He bought it as like a joke. So he bought it. He was gonna give it to her. He gets to the bar. Has a okay time because the whole time while he's thinking about was, I like this girl. What I need to do it. I need to confess. He never gets to confess. They have a chill time, whatever. Then Nikki, she actually wants to go home, and the guy Bear is our guy. Anyways, at the bar, Nikki's like, man, I think it's time to call it quits. I'm gonna go home for the day. And the other two friends, they're not really, they trying to stay out. They trying to drink, party. But Bear, being the nice Rizzler that he is, he's like, I'll take you home. So that's what he does. He gives her a ride home, and it's kind of awkward. It's a little awkward, but it's like whatever. You could obviously tell that he has a crush on her. And on the way out of the Nikki actually asks him, "Hey, do you like me? If you like me, right now is the time to say it." You know what this fucking dumbass does? He says, "Man, I like us as friends." Bro, he couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out. And it happens, he instantly like regrets it. He feels the shame basically. You know what this guy does? He doesn't give her the one wish pillow. Breaks that bitch and wishes, I wish Nikki was in love with me, blah 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 blah. And literally just like that, it switched. The girl was already home. Looks, Nikki was right there waiting for him. Or not waiting for him, but looking at him. And right there it switches. You could instantly tell that it's Nikki, but it's not really her. She starts fucking up her speech. She was saying something about how her cat died, but she was like, no, he was like, my cat died. You get little hints that something's wrong. And she's like, man, can I go over to your house? Blah blah blah. She goes over, and she's starting to act really, really weird. She's starting to act really obsessed with him. But anyways, as you can see, the movie itself is called Obsession. It's a basic plot. Guy makes a wish, wish gone wrong. But what's good about this movie is it's not really too supernatural. It's not really like, I don't know, the way it gets his scares is really good. Like I'm telling you, the whole time I was more like nervous. I wasn't really like scared because there's different types of scares. There's scares like maybe like a Sinister or a Hereditary, where you're like on edge, and then there's scares like a Terrifier where you're not really scared. You're just like, like it's too gory. And this movie was like none of those. It wasn't gory. It had gore in there, but it also wasn't like I guess you could. It's probably more on like the sinners, like the Hereditary side. But basically, she becomes really, really obsessed with him, and at the end of the day, that's what Bear wished for. So Bear, is taking full fucking advantage of this. They're going on dates, they're having a great time, but occasionally, the real Nikki comes out, and she just like snaps back out, and she's like, no, this not me. Nikki spends the night at Bear's house. She's there. They actually they lay in bed, and out of nowhere, boom, Nikki like locks back in real quick. She's like, where am I? Then out of nowhere, Bear's like, what's wrong with you? Bear starts freaking out, and then that's when Nikki locks back in. She's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just, she makes up an excuse basically, like I was just anxious, or I forgot what she says, but that's when you know that it's not really her. It's something controlling her, and it's not like like she's possessed. The movie makes sure to like let you know that she's not possessed. It's still Nikki. It's just not what she wants. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, Nikki is the victim here. From as soon as I was watching, I was like, damn, this girl's the victim because she was a regular girl living her regular life, and this guy literally wished upon her, uh, and made her obsessed with him. Now think about how you would feel if you're living your everyday life, going about shit, and out of nowhere, this random person, or maybe not a random person, let's say your friend that you fuck with, now you're obsessed with them. Now the only thing you could think about is them. The only, like, you just want to be around them all day, every day. You just can't stop thinking about them, and you start going crazy and crazy and crazy. That's what Nikki's going through, right? So again, at the end of the day, in my opinion, Nikki is the victim. Bear is the one in the wrong. Not just that, Nikki literally gave him the opportunity to admit that he likes her. Not everybody gets that. A lot of people have to go out their way and Riz or whatever. No, Nikki says, "Do you like me?" Bear says, "As friends." And again, that's why Bear is in the wrong, because throughout the movie you could tell that like they're going on shit. They're going on dates, but it's still something wrong. Every once in a while, Nikki does something crazy like cooks the cat. You know, Nikki does this. She lies. She lied to him about her dad having cancer as a way to get close to him, or like as a way for him to feel empathy towards her and let her stay over or shit like that. And little stuff like this, stuff that isn't Nikki. So Bear knows it's not Nikki. And Bear, at one point, Bear asked him, "Hey, are you Nikki? Like, is Nikki happy?" I think that's what he asked. Like, is this what Nikki wants? And I don't remember if she could answer the question. I don't. I'll probably rewatch it again. It's a great movie. I will for sure rewatch it one day. But I forgot if she says yes or no. But at the end of the day, she's like, "I'm in love with you," which she is. But again, it's not her. Bear, in my opinion, is the villain basically, because like I said, if you were in Nikki's shoes, what the fuck, man. And Bear, on the other hand, even his friends are like, "Hey, man, it seems like you're taking advantage of Nikki. If it really seems like she's just going through something, because again, Nikki was a regular girl. Now all of a sudden she's doing all this crazy stuff, and she started dating Bear, which they were cool, but they just weren't really that close to dating. Even though that's all he wanted, that's why he used to wish. Again, they just weren't close to dating. So even his friends were like, "Hey, man, it really seems like she's going through something, and it seems like you're taking advantage of her." And that's what's fucked up, because at the end of the day, he is taking advantage of her, because it's not really her. But also, if you like, the movie makes you feel bad for Bear, because Nikki, she's I don't even want to say possessed, because it doesn't that's not what she is, but it's like something's controlling her. But the stuff she does, she cooks the cat. She it's just, you have to see the movie to really understand. But the shit she does, the movie is so good at making it creepy. Like, watch the trailer, please watch the trailer, at least, if you're not gonna watch the movie. But that shit is just like, it's not like a slasher film. Nikki is not a slasher where she's just going, killing people. She does get a couple kills. I'm a spoiler alert. She does get a kill or two every once in a while. It's not a slasher film, and that's not how they intend to scare you. They scare you by the shit she does, the way she talks. It's some subtle shit. He wakes up in the middle of the night. She's just watching him in a corner, or he gets home. She hasn't moved the whole day. She's just been standing there, done piss herself, shit herself. She's just standing there. Shit like, they go out they go out to with their friends at a little party, and Nikki starts going crazy, and then out of nowhere, she snaps back to her real self. for like 5, 10 seconds. Snapping back, she hurts herself. She cuts herself. She's like, "It's not me. It's not me." She goes crazy. 10 seconds makes a scene. Now everybody's like, "What the fuck, man?" No, it really seems like Nikki's just going insane and Bear's just taking advantage of her. But you feel bad for Bear because you can see like Bear's not happy anymore. For a little bit, it really seemed like it worked out. It seemed like his wish really worked because, you can see like a little, I forgot what it's called, but it's like when they show like different times, but really fast. You can see them going on dates. You can see them living together, cooking together, watching movies and shit. And they actually seem to be working out just fine. But obviously, Juan Wish Swillo took shit too seriously. He said, "I wish Nikki Freeman loved me like more than anybody in the world." That's what happens. So now you get really scary. Like I was tensed up the whole movie, man. I'm telling you, I was like, I don't know. I haven't like the last movie that made me feel that like weirded out was probably The Terrifier, and it's just crazy. I get that same effect from a movie that's about a girlfriend because again, and one thing that this movie does do, it gets into a actual real life topic where um unhealthy relationships. It's actually showing people what unhealthy, like it's an extreme of course, but it's showing people the extreme of what an unhealthy relationship looks like. It shows people what, like, what, how love can actually make somebody obsessed. This is not like a it's crazy sci-fi topic. This is actually like standing on earth. Like this is something believable that, well, not believable because of the wish thing, but the way that the girl is acting, this is not something supernatural, crazy, insane. It's a girl acting crazy. It's just some girl, you know, going crazy about this man. And then the Terrifier was like Art the Clown, supernatural clown, just going around killing people all sorts of crazy ways. But they made me like they gave me the same type of feeling, and that's crazy because I wasn't expecting that. You know, I I had just what like I said, I watched Hokum, and Hokum was a good movie. But it's very different because Hokum was very like storyline. It was more like a murder mystery kind of a little bit. Now this was just weird in the best way possible. And they're not afraid to be weird. They were weird on purpose. They made you feel cringe. They made you feel disturbed. They make you feel like secondhand embarrassment for whenever, like in the dinner scene, for example, Nikki just stands up talking about, "I thought this was a nice date," and it makes you feel embarrassment, cringe, all this sorts of shit, and you start feeling bad for Bear because all the crazy shit that Nikki's doing. Like for example, one of their friends is some girl. I look, you forgot her name, but she was telling him how basically, hey, I think that Nikki's doing something to you because her and our other friend were hooking up off and on, and it just seems like she's maybe trying to play a game with you because before this she said she didn't really fuck with you like that, and basically she was telling him that I think she got accepted somewhere. Then out of nowhere, Nikki comes, smashes her head right into the car, and she dies. When she had got a like a letter, I forgot what it was, but it was like a college acceptance letter or something. And boom, she's dead. Why? Because of actions of Bear. Because again, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Bear. And Nikki even says it right there in that scene. She's like, "I'm sorry, but you wish for this." And by then, it's kind of Nikki even at some point, Nikki even was asleep. It was literally this a couple of scenes ago. He was because he got the message from that girl like, "Hey, if you don't meet me in the park, I'm gonna pull up." And so he tried to sneak out the house because Nikki was right there sleeping next to him. But even though Nikki was asleep, her like real inner conscience was up, and she was like, "Please, just kill me, please." Like that's not like she's just basically admitting that she's tired of it. She doesn't want to feel that way no more. because it's not her, and she was telling Bear, please just kill me. And Bear doesn't do it, you know, because is that the moral correct thing to do? Maybe not. Maybe you try to do a little more effort into maybe breaking the curse, because he goes at some point, he goes back into the shop where he got the one with Swillow. And this thing about the one with Swillow, man, I know I keep getting sidetracked, but I feel like there's so much potential. I was watching some interview, and the guy Curry Baker, the one that made the movie, he's saying that he's maybe thinking about doing a show where like different people use the one with Willow and how it affects different sorts of people. Man, I'm begging you, please do it, because it just has so much potential, man. Because it's not like it could like the I watched the interview, and he even said it, like you could use it and the wish could go right. You just have to word it, certain types of way. Like in the movie, the guy that he goes back in the shop and he's like, "Hey man, I made this wish. Uh, is there anything I could do?" And he's like, the guy's like, maybe you could make somebody else wish for something that cancels out the wish, basically. And he's like, "Can you do it, please?" And the guy's like, "Nah, man, I already used my wish." But he seems, just fine, happy, and dandy. So, obviously, the wish could work. It's just the intentions. I feel like first it's the intentions. Maybe it has to do with that. Well, there's a lot of lore, but that's another good thing about this movie, that it doesn't really get too much into the lore of the one with Shrillo, because I feel like we as consumers, we always want to find out the lore, like where did this come from? Where did this originate from? Well, blah blah blah. And this movie, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you know that the one with Willow exists. You know that it's true, and you know what it does and what it did. And what it did is it turned this girl crazy, and now we're dealing with the effects, and how now you kind of Bear kind of feels like a obligation of being with her, even though you could clearly tell at this point he does not want to be with her no more. He's tired of it. But again, there's one point in the movie where he calls the back of the box, like kind of towards the start, and he's like, "Hey man, my wish went wrong. Is there anything I could do about it?" And they're like, "Do you want to cancel your wish?" And he's like, "Nah, nah, nah, nah." He doesn't want to cancel it. He's like, "Can I alter it?" And they're like, "Nah, we don't really do that." He's like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll cancel." And they're like, "Nah, we don't really do that." But they made it seem like he could cancel it, but he couldn't. And it wasn't even his first option. You will feel like in this shoes, you would, yes, cancel it, fuck, please. But nah, he was like, "No, I just want to alter. I just want to change the wording a little bit, because again, this is still what he wanted." And I feel like, what I personally feel is, if he felt like that's how Nikki really, really felt, he would be okay with all the crazy stuff that Nikki is doing. But I feel like the fact that he kind of knows that it's not the real Nikki, it kind of fucks with him. So all the crazy stuff that she is doing, uh, it's just, he's not really down with it that much. But I feel like I'm just yapping at this point. Anyways, it's a really good movie. Best movie that I watched this year. It's scary, but it's not. It's creepy. It's more creepy than scary. It's creepy. It does have some jump scares. It'll get you every once in a while. It does have a little bit of gore, but it's awkward. It's anxious. I was feeling anxious the whole movie. The way that the actors move, the way that Nikki moves, like the way she talks, it's just creepy. And it's just so like, again, it's no Michael Myers chasing you. It's just some girl. And like I was watching it, I was thinking the same thing. Like this dude could lucky just stand up, like drop kick her, but not like, you're not really thinking that because of how scary it is.